So, hey, Sergeant Dorsey, it's your turn to impact the room.
I'm really excited to be able to ask Sergeant Dorsey some questions because she's seen law enforcement at so many different levels. So I had to like pull back because I had a whole bunch of questions, but I want to start here. So we are facing so many new sweeping safety orders. We've got a scared public. We've got health risk of close contact. So if you could talk to us a moment about the role that law enforcement now plays in keeping the communities compliant. You know, people want to know, can you be pulled over? Can people be arrested? Can tickets be issued? If I'm having an event, can it be disbanded? You know, talk to us about that. What exactly can law enforcement do at this point?
Well, you know, that's going to vary from region to region. And so I would say pay particular attention to what is being put out in the media with regards to your specific city, your specific state. And listen, this is not the time to test the system, if you will. These are very trying times, and we are seeing folks who, you know, this disease, this contagion has no boundary. It knows no age limit. It knows no socioeconomic situation. And so we really need to pay particular attention to what we are all being asked to do. So having said that, stay indoors, because there are certain municipalities who are issuing citations now. Now, police officers are not really in the business of arresting folks right now on a national level because we don't want to be exposed either, but there are opportunities where an officer could issue a citation or a complaint for arrest, if you will, that could be dealt with later on. And some of these penalties are going to be not only consequential in terms of time in jail, maybe up to a year. Most of them are misdemeanors. Fines will also come along with that. And really, this is not the time if you get stopped, because you know, my thing is comply and complain. If the police stop you and you don't believe that, you know, fat meat is greasy and you want to see if they'll really arrest you because you're outside, now you run the risk of being put in a situation in close proximity with other people who may be contaminated. We see that the Attorney General is talking about releasing prisoners because of the contagion that's going on within the penal system. And so you don't want to be thrust into that. So be safe, be smart. And, you know, unfortunately, if sense were common, everybody would have it. I can't really teach it to you. I'm just saying, comply and complain.
Well, I want you to kind of give us some information on this. One of the big things I'm seeing here in our Metroplex is religious churches. They're still wanting to meet and still wanting to have church. And we've been put under the stay-at-home order, or if it's a gathering, it can't be 10 or more. In situations like that, how would you advise a pastor who's saying, well, you know, we're still wanting to have faith, we're still wanting to come to church, and we should be praying in times like this instead of disbanding? What information would you share with them?
Well, I mean, I agree. And I would imagine by now, given this electronic digital world that we live in, probably most churches have the ability to stream services. And I think I'm seeing some churches start to do that already. And so listen, I don't need to be in your physical presence to fellowship with you. We're kind of doing that right now today. And so you can be encouraged. You can receive the word, enjoy the word in the comfort of your own home during this time, much like folks do when they're ill and they can't get to church. And so while we're feeling good, we're looking good, you know, if it makes you feel better, get cute, dress up and sit in front of your computer and praise him there.
Okay. Now let's talk about law enforcement for a moment. Do you know what measures are being taken for them to stay safe during this situation? And also, have they been given any kind of additional training? Because this seems to have just swooped in. So I don't know that many of them were prepared for something of this magnitude. And then, like I said, having to try to keep themselves safe.
Well, I'll just say this, and having spent 20 years on the Los Angeles Police Department, I'm a little bit biased, and I think we are the best and well-trained force out there. And so, you know, we train for these kinds of emergencies, contingencies all the time. Dealing with someone who may be afflicted with an illness is not something that's foreign to us. I particularly worked in downtown Los Angeles, Skid Row area, where I dealt with homeless people. And, you know, some were sick, some had lesions on their body. Others, you couldn't really look at them and tell. And so I'm sure that what police officers are doing right now on a national level is no different than what we do day in and day out. We play like we practice. And I believe that most departments are prepared.
Okay. And I'm glad you said it a moment ago, and I want to go back to that. This isn't the time to really try to test test the police department or push your issue about, well, I've got free to do this and free to do that. We really need to be cooperative, and let's really kind of encourage people in that. Again, this is for your safety. It's not we're trying to take over your rights or any of that. It's just really for safety.
And let me just say this, because I know young people, I've got, some millennials of my own, and they think they're invincible, immortal, and none of this stuff can touch them. But everybody's got a grandma, a parent, an elderly aunt or uncle who may be susceptible. And so while you may be in good health, be mindful and cognizant of your family members who you are ultimately going to spend time with and be in close proximity, because they may not have the immune system that you have, and now you don't want to infect a family member, someone that you care about. And we're seeing people, are affected, contaminated, and within a short period of time, they're out of here. So this is really nothing to play with. And let me just say this while we're talking about safety, because I don't know if you're going to cover this, but I just want to say to everybody to be mindful of your surroundings when you do go out. I have seen some instances where folks are taking advantage of the situation, and listen, opportunists are going to do what they do.
Right.
When you're out shopping and you're keeping that 6-foot distance between you and the next shopper, when you're loading groceries into your car, ladies, be mindful. I'm always a little suspicious, and I'm always a little skeptical about stuff, and I think that keeps me from being a victim, and I hope it'll keep you from being a victim. And so as I was thinking about a story that I heard, a woman who had her entire shopping cart stolen from her recently in Northern California because of an opportunist. This might be a good time, ladies, for you to leave those amazing purses that we carry at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Wear some pants with some pockets, put your money in your pocket, put it, carry a small wallet. There's really no reason to have a big giant purse, something that could easily distract you. Children are distractions. So be very mindful of those things when you're out and about, because I believe, pretty soon, but these checks don't come. Somebody is going to come up short in a couple of weeks, right?
Right.
And they're going to be looking to see who's not paying attention. So be mindful, keep your head on a swivel, pay attention to folks, and hopefully that'll keep you safe.
And see, I'm so glad you said that. So see, great minds think alike, because I was going to ask, what should we do to protect ourselves, to be safe? And as you mentioned, times are going to get a little stretched. And so there will be opportunities. One last thing I do want to talk about, some people are asking about weapons. Do you think this is the time for us to get these weapons, or is that kind of premature? Kind of talk to us from your professional opinion.
So here's what I'll say about guns,
Okay.
because it's something, as a police officer, we trained when I was in the academy every day for hours, and you need to be proficient, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go out, and I don't know that you could even at this late date do that, because I think in most places gun stores are no longer considered essential businesses and are not open. But let's say you have a family member toss you one of theirs, right? Because you just want to have it at the house. If you don't know what you're doing, God forbid, should someone come in there on you, whether it's during this crisis or any event, if you don't know how to handle a weapon, you're going to get hurt. You might hurt yourself. If you're not used to being around weapons, then you're probably not going to pay the kind of attention and care that you should in terms of exposing other family members, giving them access to it. Children are home now. And so having a weapon is really more than a notion. And if you aren't proficient, if you don't know how to use it, if you can't reload it, if you aren't thinking about it like you do your hand, because it should be second nature when you handle it, then this is probably not the time for you to experiment. And more importantly, have something like that around your home that could be accessible to a little person.
That's good. That's good wisdom, y'all. That is Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, an expert in the field. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Sergeant Dorsey. Actually, all of you, seriously, we have been given some great, unbelievable information today that is not going to just help us be more aware, which is what it's going to do, and help us be less stressed, but it's also going to help us help somebody else. So for people that did not see this today, that were not on this meeting or watched it on Facebook, it's a good way for us to share with other people. Just like there's bad information being shared, we need to share the good information as well.
Absolutely.
So let me see, do we have any questions on Facebook? If there are any questions for any of our panelists today, be sure and just shoot us a message, let us know. And you can still reach them after this is over, because you can always go to the Hill Agency, intl.com, and there is a message area that you can leave a message for any of our speakers at any time, and they will definitely get back to you. So does anybody else have anything else to say today?
So Faye, I would like to say something, because I think that I have a little message for those who are just really scrambling in the government and at city levels trying to figure out what to do. I think one thing, or a couple of things that they should do while they're in this planning stage, is to talk about regulating the cleaning industry so that we won't have this problem again, and then be more responsible when it comes to procurement practices. Because a cleaning company can only be as effective as their contract award allows them. So if a procurement company goes after a contract and they want the lowest bidder, everybody knows that if I take my Escalade to the car wash and I want to get it clean for $10, we all know it costs more than $10 to get the Escalade clean. The same applies with cleaning. You can't go with the lowest bidder and expect a high quality product. So there's some real conversations that need to be had. And those issues really need to be addressed now, because it will be Corona today, and then it will be another virus tomorrow.
Gotcha. Thank you, Reggie. Good. Excellent. Do any of our other speakers that are in the room, Colette, Derek, do any of you guys have anything that you want to say regarding our panel discussion today?
Let me just say this. I don't want to get real political, but I mean, irregardless of what, and I know that's not a word, but regardless of what persuasion you're from, voting has consequences and not voting has consequences. And so we're starting to see some of that factor into what's going on right now. And it's so important that you get engaged, you get involved in not only voting, but just having a conversation with those people who are involved in your quality of life issues wherever you live. When you have an opportunity to attend a community meeting and speak with a council member, speak with a police chief, a mayor, a governor, etc., please get involved and get engaged, because your voice matters, your vote matters. And right now we're in the midst of an election year, as well as documents going out for census count. All of those things are going to have life-altering, life-changing effects if we don't get involved, get engaged.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important.
I do have a question, and this question is for Sergeant Dorsey, because I personally have people that I love and care about a lot that are on the police force. And so probably twice a day, I'm checking on them now, more than ever. So for those of us who are either have people that we love and care about that are on the police force, or maybe we just want to do something nice for an officer, what would you suggest? Because I'm always thinking about, well, maybe we just, put cases of water out or something, just what, but then, if it's water and toilet paper, you winning in the world today. We don't care about Escalades, we care about water and toilet paper right now. So what would be something that you would suggest that we could do to just kind of relieve, because they're working more now than they've been, and they already work a lot. And so what would be some of your suggestions that we could do to add a little relief, or besides staying our butts at the house, or just brighten their day?
So I would say, having done that job and knowing, the culture, these are very stressful times, and the very best thing you could do for a loved one, whether they're in law enforcement or military, might be same, is be an ear. Just be there, be a place, be a port in the storm. Because let me tell you what I know about police officers. Reporting that you're not dealing with something is not sexy. And police officers don't have a safe place where they can go and speak about things that are troubling, that are stressing them. And that's why you see so many police officers who are involved in alcoholism, who are probably sometimes a little heavy-handed in the field because they have anger management issues. And these are things that nobody wants to talk about, right? Police chiefs included. And so if you give a loved one an opportunity to come to you and just purge, just speak on what's on their mind, a judgment-free zone, a safe place, because I'm telling you, we do not have that at work. And if you come to work and you tell, you're either looked at like, what's wrong with you? Or maybe we need to set you in a quiet corner in the dark and let you spend a little time alone. And so police don't self-report. We don't say that we have a need. We can't be vulnerable. So do that for your family members. Give them a place to come and just exhale.
That's good.
That's good.